Good morning, friends. Myself, Professor Tawal Chandarana, and we are on unit number 5 of cybersecurity subject known as Introductions of Cybercrime Investigation. It is the 10th lecture of unit number 5, so I think you know that what are the different things which we have discussed in a previous 9 video lecture. I hope you are going through this and I hope you are enjoying. As a previous lecture, we will discuss the important thing about DOS and DDoS attack, which is a really important in a cybersecurity as well as a cybercrime. So guys, today we will discuss one interesting point known as a SQL injections. Nowadays, a login credentials will be accessed through these techniques. Unauthorized user can access our login credential with the help of SQL injections. So we will discuss the SQL injections, different things to remember, that what are the techniques by which hacker can be access our login credential. So we will start with the basic introduction about SQL injection. SQL injection is also short known as a SQLI. SQL injection is a web security vulnerability. It is a vulnerability, that's why a hacker can access our login credentials. Vulnerability is nothing but a kind of hole through which hacker can easily penetrate our secure system. So SQL injection is a web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to infer with the queries that an application makes to database. SQL, or we can say SQLI, a stand known as structured query language. It is one of the language through which we can access our database, tables, rows, and with the help of all the activities which should be retrieve information of a database. It generally allows an attacker to view data that they are not normally able to retrieve. Means through the SQL, it is the SQL administrator who can easily access a data with the help of SQL language, but normal user not access all the information. So generally allow an attacker to view a data that they are not normally able to retrieve. That's why it is known as an attacker. This might include a data belongs to the other users or any other data that the application itself is able to access. In a database structures, there are lots of database. Within this database there are lots of tables, and within this table there are lots of rows in form of records. So the structure will be maintained with the database, table, and collections of rows. It might include a data belongs to the other users, because if you access a database, then you can access all the part of information which will be stored within these tables, and with the table help of retrieving all the information. So data may be a particular individual user, group of users, and the complete organization informations. In many cases, an attacker can modify or delete this data, causes the persistence change to the application's content or a behavior. Because in nowadays, the website will be work on a dynamic concept. Means all the content of information will be stored on a particular database. Whenever we access a particular website, the data will be loaded through the database. So hacker can be delete some kind of information. If they are accessing or they are controlling a database, then a website will be not effectively loaded in browsers. So a hacker will access a database without help of SQL injections, so they can easily access all the data which should be stored on a database, and they are performing any kind of operations, like they can modify the data, they can delete the data, they can insert some unlegitimate information which is not part of actual websites, and they can change a content or maybe a behavior. In some situations, an attacker can equate an SQL injections attack to compromise the underlying server or the other backend infrastructures, or perform a denial of services. Means through the SQL injections they perform lots of applications, or we can say unlegitimate flood packets, so the server can busy with this kind of identification, like in previously we studied a DDoS or DOS attack. So through these SQL injections, if they provide the flood packets, so server can busy with the identifications, and through which this particular time hacker can easily access our database. SQL injections is a web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to interfere with the queries that an application makes to its database. Because all the database, it is a part of a SQL data, because a website data should be stored on a backend side, it is known as a database. In generally allows an attacker to view a data that they are not normally able to retrieve. Means they just seen those kind of data which should be a personal one. Like I will just give you one example. If you are logged in with a Facebook account, so if you are a legitimate user, you can just only those kind of data which you are provided a username and password. You can't see all the informations against a different users. But as a hacker, if you are hack the Facebook server with help of SQL injections, then you have control about all the registered user which is part of a Facebook server. In many cases, maybe hacker can be change applications data, delete data, or modify the particular behaviors. In some of the situation, an attacker can exploit SQL injections attack to compromise the underlying server or other backend infrastructures. Means they are changing the table structures, maybe they are changing the database name. If they are modifying any kind of things which is part of code structures, then completely website should be not load in particular data. So it is one of the things through which hacker can change the behavior of websites with help of SQL injections. It is the things that we need to know, that what is a SQL injections, how it works, and how the user can access all the username and password. This is the figure through which we can easily found that the data will be accessed by the hacker. It is the SQL, it is known as a structured query language, which is done with this particular computer system. They can submit those kind of query in a particular server. If the query should be generated, some of the result like union select username password from the users, means they perform some kind of activity like a select name description from the product where category is equal to gift, union select username password from the users. They are just providing those kind of query. They are converting this query into this particular form, and after this performing those kind of query, this query work as a database, because a category like gift, whenever we refer a website, there are some of the clues through which we can easily find that the table name, database name, product name, and lots of information which is stored by the users on a database. So we can just try to access with help of common query structure in a particular website's query structure. If a query will be executed, they go with the database and found with the category known as a gift. They provide all the data which is provide all passwords and all username. So hacker can easily access complete username and password with help of those kind of query. It is just an example for your reference use. Please don't use any kind of SQL injection in any of the websites, because it is a cyber crime. In a practical session, in a lab session, we are also perform those kind of SQL injection with help of a different example, but within the local system. We are never use those kind of SQL injection in a live project. So please guys, please do not use any SQL injection on a live website. It is harmful for you. It is a crime. Now, what is the impact of a successful SQL injection attack? Means if the attack is successfully performed, then what are the different things or what are the different output will be generated through this successful query? A successful SQL injections attack can result in unauthorized access to sensitive data. As a previous image, if we are getting the all username and password, then we are getting a sensitive data without any kind of permissions or without any kind of personal informations such as password, credit card details, or a personal user information. As a previously example says that if some of the users store a credit card information, in nowadays we are storing a credit card numbers, we just provide the 3-digit CVV number. So if some user store a credit card information on this particular websites, if some unauthorized user can access the username password, so they can easily identify a credit card information of this particular users. Many high profile data breaches in a recent year have been the result of SQL injections attack, leading to reputational damages and a regulatory fines, because we are getting a core amount of data through this technique. If the technique will be successfully performed, then we are accessing core data, which is most important for the particular websites. In some cases, an attacker can obtain a persistence backdoor into the organization system, leading to a long-term compromise that can go unnoticed for an extended period. Because sometimes hacker can perform a SQL injection on a giant company, there are lots of information will be stored within this particular server. The server may be a private one or a public one, but the hacker just access a particular organization server, so they can easily identify employee informations, employee personal data, organizational informations, as well as organization project, financial informations, what are the different clients and client confirmations against the project, and all the things through which organization will be successfully work. So somehow some organization will be maintain this kind of security against the SQL injections. Now we just go through this SQL injections example. There are the wide variety of SQL injections, vulnerabilities, attacks, and the techniques which arise in a different situations, because hacker may be perform SQL injection directly, maybe with help of vulnerabilities, maybe with help of attacks performed by the malicious softwares, and maybe they are using some latest technology through which they can easily access the website's data. Some common SQL injection we will go through the below example, like retrieving hidden data, or we can say retrieving hidden data, where you can modify an SQL query to return the additional results. Second, subverting applications logic, where you can change a query to interfering with the application's logic. Like as a previous example, we are providing a general structures which help through we can find the specific website table. It is just a try. If we perform the successful result, they can easily get a information, but the structure will be common one. Third, it is a union. As a previously example, we use this kind of attack. It is known as a union attack, where you can retrieve data from different database table. As a example, we are retrieving username and password with help of union attack. Examining the database, where you can extract informations about the version and structures of the database. As a previously we will discuss, it is maybe a vulnerability, because if some of the users know about information about your database, version of database, what are the different security level will be implemented on this particular database, means they just found the different kind of vulnerability which should be affected in a particular database. In further use, they can store this particular information, and whenever they require to retrieve information without permission, they just use a vulnerability which should be identified in examining the database. Next, blind SQL injection. It is one of the best technique in SQL example, where the result of query you control are not returned in the applicant's response. They are retrieving in form of random numbers data. We are can't controlling those kind of information, but it is a blind. That's why they are providing lots of information which we are not retrieving also. So it is one of the best way to perform the SQL injection with help of different example. But guys, I will just remind you, please do not use any kind of SQL injections on a live website. Now, how to detect a SQL injections vulnerability? In a previous slide, we will go through this different example through which SQL injection will be performed. Now on current, how to detect and what are the different things to remember that a SQL injection vulnerability will be happening. SQL injections can be detected manually by using a systematic sets of tests, or we can say in a normal word known as a validation, against the every entry point in the applications. Means we are checking, submitting the single quotations character and looking for error or other anomalies. Means if someone want to submit a single character in a password, then we provide the errors. Submitting some SQL specific syntax that evaluated to the base or original value of the entry points and to a different value, and looking for the symmetric different in the resulting application's response. As an example, we says that we are performing select command SQL keywords in a particular username and password, then we directly redirect this kind of request to accessing data, because SQL query have some formations, they are using some keywords, they are using some notations and all the things through which data will be accessed without any kind of permission, and it is known as a SQL injections. Next, submitting boolean conditions such as or 1 is equal to 1, it is always be true, and or 1 is equal to 2, and looking for the differences in the application's response. Means somehow if condition will be true with any different logic, we check that all the condition through which we can getting the result, or we can provide the result to the end users. Submitting payloads designed to trigger times, delay with execute within the SQL query, and looking for the differences in the time taken to response. In my personal point of view, the last thing it should be remembered for all the DBA, or we can say database administrator. Means through this kind of log file we can easily find that which data is regularly used, what are the response time, what are the different user with a different level of time they can access the different data within the single informations. Means we can say that, I will just give you one example. If some users purchase a product, like they just search a boys product, then provide the filter with the size, which they provide with the help of age, which they provide with the help of discount, and with help of lots of filters, if they getting some result, then you note that they are just looking for different accessibility through which the result will be generated. So it is the most important thing to remember that what are the different types of user can access a similar data and what are the different response time. Next thing, submitting OATS payloads designed to trigger an out of band networks interactions when executed within the SQL query, and monitoring for any resulting interactions. Means we just discussed about a triggering is nothing but providing a regular interval actions on some different tables. For this, nowadays we are using a CAPTCHA code. It is a really good things against a SQL injections, because a computer generated query is not allowed until we are not using a CAPTCHA code, and CAPTCHA code is random generate number, it never be repeated. So those of the things through which we can detect SQL injection vulnerability. Now we see that some advanced level of SQL injections query. It is known as second order SQL injections. In a previous level, in a previous SQL injections example, has just a hacker can perform the query individually on a particular websites. But on a latest trend, first order SQL injections arise where the application take a user's input from the HTTP request and in the courses of processing that request incorporates the input into the SQL query in an unsafe way. Means hacker just perform the query within this website's criteria. They are never trying another tools to access this particular database. They never use different technology through which they can access the database. They just try to invent that a vulnerability which should be part of a website. But on a second order SQL injections, user perform all the availability through which they can access a database like SQL query with help of different tools, with help of different technology. They just try to access a database without any kind of permissions. In a second order SQL injection, also known as a stored SQL injections, the application takes user input from an HTTP request and store it for the further use. That's why it is the latest one. In a previous one, SQL first order, they are just performing the request. If it's not performed, then it should be a denied one. But in a second order, they are storing all the queries through which they can filter out and compare with the getting actual result, as well as they are comparing those kind of things which will be not provide the result and which will be provided by the results. This is usually done by placing the input into the database, but not vulnerability arise at the point where the data is stored. As a previously I will say that it should be store all the activity which should be happen within this HTTP request, so they can easily compare and check that which request will be performed and which will request not be performed one. It should be done by placing the input into the database, but not vulnerability. As a first order explanation, I will just give you the find of vulnerability by the hackers, but in second order they just try to access our data. Later, when handling a different HTTP request, the applications retrieve the stored data and incorporate it into the SQL query in an unsafe way, because we are storing all the HTTP requests, and as a try of some of the query performed successfully and getting the actual result, then we can perform some another query based on which should be provided by the success one. So if we are storing those kind of query, then we can easily compare with the success one and not successful results. It is the example of second order SQL injections. Means as an administrator, as a figure says that as a hacker, we just perform a query. First query is known as update user set password let in where user administrator, because almost 50% of live website case administrator username have administrator and password is administrator. So the hacker just provide some common structures against the username and password. They are not providing a query, because if a user just directly access this kind of websites through this query, then internet service provider directly reject those kind of queries. But nowadays in a second order, they perform those query on a username and password login credentials. So website just verify those kind of data, and ISP never identified that the data should be performed legally one and not legal. So they are just trying as much as possible into the particular websites. Through websites, if some of the query should be provide the result, so they can directly access the profile. But with help of profile, because it is a registered user, they perform some another query, and through this all the query after completions of actual results, they're getting the actual login credentials of administrator and username and password. They just try to identify a simple one. If they are getting some response and successful response, they are storing, and they're trying a different one with help of previous historical query and generate the actual administrator username and password. So that's why a second order SQL injection is really important nowadays in cybercrime, and it is more dangerous to detect a SQL injections operations because they are working on a legal manner but with the illegal technology. Second order SQL injection often arise in a situations where developers are aware of SQL injections vulnerability and so safely handle the initial placement of the input into the database. As a previously, SQL second order injections, hacker will identify that actual vulnerability about the sites, so they can easily understand what are the structures of DBMS or database, what are the different tables, and what are the data may be stored in a previous one, so they can easily find the vulnerability against all the system users. When the data is later processed, it is deemed to be saved since it was previously placed into the database safely. As a previous example, if somehow they can access some legal users or we can say registered user information without unauthorized access, then they place some information, means they can change the password. So now if have a password and username, so it is a registered user, and a server never identified between a legitimate and illegitimate users, because if you have a right username and password, then you are a legitimate user because you have a login credentials. Now they are just trying to identify the actual structures of a websites through which they can access the common structures and build a query and access the administrative data. It is the method of accessing second order SQL injections. At this point, the data is handled in an unsafe way because the developer wrongly deems it to the trusted because they have a legal username and password. And how to get this legal username and password? They are identified a vulnerability through the SQL injections. Now, how to prevent a SQL injections? If we are IT developers and we need to protect our website against SQL injections, then it is the really important to learn how to prevent SQL injections. Preventing SQL injections vulnerability is not easy, as the first line says that it is not easy. Specific preventions technique depends on the subtypes of SQLi vulnerabilities, on another SQL database engine, and on another programming language. Because if some hacker just only use of SQL language, then we can somehow identify these particular preventions. But if they are using some another database engine, another programming language, another latest tool through which they can penetrate our vulnerabilities, so it is very hard to identify and detect this particular SQL injections. However, there are the certain general strategy principles that you should follow to keep your web application safe. What are the general strategy? First steps, train and maintain the awareness, means regularly monitoring all the activity which should be done with the particular websites. To keep your web application safe, everyone involved in building the web application must be aware of the risk associated with the SQL injections. Means before publishing a website, we verify all the inputs, all the required input from the user side which should be provided in particular website. We provide all the data through which hacker may be access our web applications. You should provide a suitable security training to all the developers, quality assurance staff, QA, DevOps, developer OS, and system admin. You can start by the referring them to this page. Means All the developers, testers and administrators know about different latest SQL injections. If they are aware about this latest thing, then it should be implemented by his or herself. So first thing, train and maintain the awareness. If they have, they can build those kind of websites which is secured by the latest SQL injections. Second, don't trust any user input. It is the prior thing when we are developing any websites. Treat all user input as untrusted. If you are performing this thing, then your website 20% may be secure against the SQL injections. Any user input, that is just use an SQL query, introduce a risk of an SQL injections. Treat input from the unauthenticated and or internal users the same way that you treat public input. Means if a registered user also perform a login credentials like enter username and password, the same process every time they are verifying username and password, they never believe that if you are registered user then you can directly access your dashboard. What are the different steps which will be implemented with a guest user? Same process should be performed with the registered user. So we can easily found that a different activity performed with the same users. So please don't trust any user input into the websites. Third method, it is a user whitelist, not blacklist. Don't filter user input based on a blacklist. Means if some hacker can try to perform SQL query onto the username and password, don't be blocked. Because if you are blocked those kind of users, then they know that if we are performing those kind of input, the website we directly blocked it. So they are just introduce a new technology, new techniques and new tool to your websites. A clever attacks will be almost always find a way to circumvent your blacklist. If possible, verify and filter user input using the strict whitelist only. Means we just provide the notification your username and password is wrong. Why this wrong? We are not blocking those kind of inputs and we can't provide any kind of additional information through which they can identify the actual concept about a developing team which should be developed by the websites. Fourth, adopt the latest technology. It is the basic requirement and basic need to implement a latest website into the preventions of SQL injections. Older web development technology don't have a SQLi protections. If you are using the core language, then there are never protections against the SQLi injections. Use the latest versions of development environment like you are using a frameworks. It is provide a more security compared to the core one, and the language and the latest technology associated with that environment and languages. For example, in PHP, use PDO. It is the PHP data object instead of MySQLi. Because if you are using so many object-based concept or OOPS-based concept, they provide a latest and better security against the core MySQLi. Fifth one, employ verified mechanisms. Employed verified mechanism is don't try to build SQLi protection from the scratch. Means you never provide a security against a lower level. Most modern development technology can offer you mechanism to protect against the SQLi. Use such as mechanism instead of trying to reinvent the wheel. Like for example, use the parameterized query or store procedure. We never use a regular query structures. If we are using the regular structures on our project, hacker can easily access because they have a lots of common structure will be available in market for the SQLi injections. So we need to update or we need to use whenever we provide the filter result, we are using a store procedure, cursor, trigger through which we need to pass just parameter. The structure will be always be available. And the last one, scan regularly with Oxtenix. SQL injections may be introduced by your developers or through external libraries, models, or software. First line, you must be focused and remember that, because if some of the developer is provide the information again which kind of techniques which will be implemented in websites, then hacker is easily perform SQL injection in your websites. So SQL injection may be introduced by your developers. If it is, then it is really harmful for us. You should regularly scan your web application using a web vulnerability scanner such as Octanix. If you are use Jenkins, you should install the Octanix plugins to automatically scan every builds. Means provide a scanning against your website's unauthorized access, unauthorized input, as well as unauthorized database which will be accessed by the unauthorized users. So guys, it is the concept that what is SQL injections, what are the different things which we need to learn SQL, how to protect our website against SQL, what is the basic SQL injection, what is the second order SQL injection, and what are the different way to hacker access our data or access our website with help of SQL injections. I hope you are clear. Thank you so much.